All right, our next guest, our own Rav host of Law and Border, who's been out with the Border Patrol and is currently in Minneapolis. Let's bring in Ben Bergquam. Ben, you spoke with the U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks, and you asked him what would be his message to the American people about the importance of Border Patrol jobs. Let's take a little soundbite from that.
First and foremost, to enter this country illegally is a crime. One of the things you'll hear from the left talking heads is that some of these people don't have a criminal history. Maybe not here in the United States, but they have criminal history back home. You have to understand that when the prior administration, the Biden administration, told you they were vetting people, it's just a lie. They were vetted against systems that they weren't in. They weren't vetted against the systems they were in. And Venezuela wasn't going to share that information with us because they didn't want them back either. And so what you're seeing is known criminals being arrested, those that have committed crimes since coming here, those that committed crimes from countries that do share that information with us, and then again, those that are wanted in their own country that they would not share that information with us. But listen, as we do targeted enforcement, when you target a criminal illegal alien, someone that's got a conviction for rape, robbery, murder, sexual assault of a minor, you're going to find regular illegal aliens. Why? Because the criminal illegal aliens live in the same communities as illegal aliens. They prey on those illegal aliens, hoping that they won't report the victimization that they've received because they fear deportation. For the first time in my lifetime in both the Border Patrol and in the military, whole of government approach really has a meaning. I've heard it so many times over and over again. We're going to take a whole of government approach. I've never seen it until January the 21st of this year. As you said, we got FBI, we got ATF, we got DEA. If you're a law enforcement officer in the federal government, you are in some way helping us with this mission. And the fact is that those that came here illegally are going to be apprehended, they're going to be prosecuted and deported. Is it the most secure border we've ever had in my lifetime? Absolutely. Are we going to get complete operational control? And by that I mean that nothing crosses that border without being apprehended? We are going to get it. For the first time in my career, I actually believe it's obtainable because the President of the United States and Kristi Noem are empowering the U.S. Border Patrol to do what we know how to do, which is go out there and secure that border. And we're doing it.
You know, Ben, I think it was really interesting that the president was finishing up that long press conference at the top of the hour, and he mentioned what a great job Kristi Noem is doing. A lot of people were calling me, hey, have you heard Trump's going to fire Kristi Noem? Reporters, I'm like, you guys are nuts. And Trump confirmed he's not. He's very happy with her job. Tell us about Chief Banks. He seems at least encouraged. I've interviewed him before, and he was worried about morale and whatnot. Tell us where we are with him now.
Well, that was another question that I asked him. Was it specifically about morale? And his response was, it's never been higher. Letting these guys do what they swore an oath to do is all they want to do. Border Patrol and ICE, all they want to be able to do is their jobs, to go get the bad guys. And with Border Patrol's case, I was with him in Blaine, Washington, up on the northern border. So those guys want to secure that border. Under Biden, they were actually shipped down to the southern border to help process illegals and invite them into our country. Now they're back up on the northern border, securing the border. And beyond that, they're able to go and do these targeted enforcements, working with ICE to go into these communities where the illegals were allowed in, and they're getting them out. So not only is Border Patrol securing the border, they're also helping with that all-of-government approach to get illegals. But that also brings you to here, where I'm at in Minneapolis, where the biggest problem we have in this country are the sanctuary jurisdictions, mayors like the mayor of Minneapolis, the governor, Governor Walz, all these people that are working against ICE. That's the problem. If there's any morale issue, it's because you have sanctuary jurisdictions working against them. But if anything, what I'm seeing is it just pisses these agents off even more, and they want to do their job even more.
You know, and it strikes me that this whole thing in Minneapolis and Minnesota, the $1 billion that the Somali group had stolen, you know, Ilhan Omar comes out and says, oh, but they're American citizens. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they're still stealing people blind. Is there a big illegal migrant situation in Minneapolis also?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've got twofold. So one is we've allowed in millions of even legal immigrants that should never have been allowed into this country. You have people being brought in from corrupt governments, and you wonder why they would do this massive fraud in Minneapolis in the Somali community. Well, when you invite people into our country that has no allegiance to this country, and then you don't ask them to assimilate, you don't have any expectations for them, they're going to bring that third world mentality. And so even with the legal immigrants that you have here, you still have that third world mentality with many of them. I saw a lot of them today out protesting against ICE in the community, trying to pick up the illegal bad guys. But the other side of that is, yes, you also have illegal aliens that were brought in under Joe Biden. Every country in the world just about came through our southern border and our northern border under Joe Biden, and they've shipped everywhere. But it's not just Somalis that you have a massive illegal alien population here in Minneapolis. You have huge numbers from Central America, South America, and even Asia. Big numbers from China, from Vietnam as well, all over the country. They choose these liberal cities because they get protection, they get coverage, they get all the welfare benefits, and they know now when ICE is coming to town, you're actually going to have the government working, the city and the state government working against ICE being able to do their job. So there's a reason why, yes, to answer your short answer to your question, there's a massive illegal alien population here in Minneapolis, just like every major liberal city in America.
How does Chief Banks, I don't know if you asked him this, what's the general thought on, I believe it's up to 1.8 million illegals have self-deported under the program. They get some money, they get to jump back into the front of the line if they come back legally. Does ICE and Border Patrol think it's working?
Yeah, actually, again, speaking of that, I'm going to be releasing the whole 15-minute interview. That was one of the things he brought up. He said every time we go into a community and do targeted enforcement, we get more applications through the CBP Home app because of the enforcement. People are realizing, illegals are realizing they're coming, and they'd rather do it on their own terms than get picked up by ICE and forced home. If you choose to use that CBP Home app, you can actually not only go home, it doesn't count against you, it's not considered a deportation, and the government will actually pay for your flight back home. You can actually apply legally to try to come through the process. But now if you get deported, you don't have that option. You'll never be allowed back in unless a Democrat gets into office and you come back in illegally. So we're seeing a massive, every single time they do these targeted enforcement, you're seeing an increase in people using that CBP Home app.
Indeed. Ben, we're going to let you go, my friend. I know you're busy. You got a bunch of people who begging to get Ben Bergquam on the show. Thank you. Appreciate your time, Ben Bergquam, Law and Border with Ben.
I got to get back out with ICE. We're going after more illegals, brother. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure.
Go get them. Go get them. Send them home. Tell them they can come back and pay taxes like the rest of us. Thank you, Ben. Okay.
That's right.
All right, folks. Chronic joint inflammation, whether driven by osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or post-traumatic injury, remains one of the most disabling conditions in modern life, especially when you get up there in age, a little bit older. So all these things start to hurt. Everything hurts. To find out more, let's bring in the Chief Scientific Officer of the Wellness Company, good friend of mine, personal friend, Dr. Peter McCullough. Doc, really good to have you on. Tell us about chronic joint inflammation and what we can do and what specifically the Wellness Company can help us with.
Eric, you should know better than anyone, being a former pro athlete. And, as we get older, our joints get older, and invariably we get some joint pain, or sometimes I just think our joints feel old. Wellness Company was innovated with a product called TheraBlu, which contains multiple very, very innovative ingredients, including methylene blue, NAD, a peptide, a copper-based peptide that helps in joint repair, as well as multiple botanicals. And we encourage people to use it every day consistently, whether the joint hurts or not, to fundamentally change the natural history of this arthritis.
Doc, you're right. I have a massive joint problem, my right arm, from throwing all the wear and tear. Is it one of the things, do I have to have surgery, or is there hope for me?
It all depends, because certainly you need to see your orthopedist, and the MRIs have assisted greatly. I've run a marathon in every state in the country. I've got a lot of mileage on my legs and knees, and they just sometimes feel old. And I personally use the product every day consistently. And, it's a method of not just relieving pain, but also, we think improving the joints. And it's you really can't do that by taking pills, and surgeries can only go so far. So what's really going to carry us? TheraBlu.
TheraBlu. Interesting. Also, you mentioned peptides, and the reason why I asked this, Doc, if I'm not mistaken, the GLP-1 drugs are peptides. How is this different?
Well, these are short. This is a short peptide that fundamentally gets absorbed through the skin and then favorably influences repair of the proteins that make up cartilage and ligaments. So it's very different than a GLP-1 peptide. But, the Federal Trade Commission regulates them. They are safe for topical use. Wellness Company has a tremendous experience there, and the peptides are actually in a special what's called aquasome that allows the delivery into the skin. They're safe, And this is a giant advantage over just the topical pain relievers that people are used to. This fundamentally, we believe, changes arthritis and helps people heal and get better.
So Doc, one more question before I let you go. Methylene blue and TheraBlu. Tell us, they're popping up everywhere. Everyone's starting to talk about it. Just tell us what those are.
Well, methylene blue, we use it, and I'm a cardiologist, we use it in cardiology to kind of revive the cardiovascular system after heart transplant. It's used in carbon monoxide overdoses. It helps regenerate the mitochondria, the energy factories within cells. Well, we can actually use it topically to help rejuvenate the mitochondria in the cells. And some of these senescent cells in the joints, they need a boost, and they fundamentally help those cells get a metabolic boost.
All right, we got to let you go. Wellness Company, by the way, you can get 10% off if you mention Real America's Voice. Is that right?
That's right. Use your promo code, get 10% off. These make great stocking stuffers. And, Wellness Company, well supported by Real America's Voice and your audience. Thank you so much.
All right. Doc, really good having you on, my friend. We love having Dr. Peter McCullough, one of the premier doctors in America, on us with us. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Every man gets a moment in life where life quietly asks a dangerous question. Who are you willing to become to get ahead? Patrick Bet-David got that question working the front desk at a Bally's gym, no less, way back when. Watch.
They call me, they say, how much money you make at Bally's right now? I said, I'm doing great. I'm making $3,300 a month. He says, how would you like to make $4K a week if you just come with us? You're just our muscle and you got to get us, collect money. I come home, I'm like, oh,
They're dealing coke.
Oh, coke. Like, yeah. This guy eventually ends up going away. But so they're dealing coke, and I come back and I say, I can't do it. So I don't do it.
You got to find out how that story ends. That's on The Edge. We have some of the most amazing interviews, almost an hour with Patrick Bet-David, one of the premier talking heads in America right now. Great guy. If that hit you, that's what The Edge is all about. The split second before your life goes one direction or the other, you make that decision. The full story on The Edge. Here's what you got to do. See that QR code right there? Use a camera. Point your camera right at that QR code. A little yellow line comes. Press it. You've subscribed. Never going to charge you. Never going to ask you for a dime. Never going to market anything to you. I just want you part of this group that's growing 150 times faster than all new YouTube channels. I said that right. 150. The Edge, Eric Bolling The Edge on YouTube. Eric Bolling The Edge on YouTube, or use that QR code. I really, really appreciate your subscription. It helps us out a lot. Thank you. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.